Reading out this review from the old DWRG for Ford of Doomsday. This is from Andrew Wixon, The Frog Chorus, published on the 23rd of the 4th, 02. As the real first appearance of Peter Davison as the Doctor, Ford of Doomsday was always going to be an interesting story, but no one surely had any ideas as to just how off the wall it was going to turn out to be. Not in an obvious Cartmelish happiness patrol style way, but in a more subtle, peculiar manner. Let's just look again at that plot. A giant extraterrestrial frog is heading for Earth aboard a giant spaceship. For company, he's brought along some native Australians, some South Americans, some Chinese guys, and a Greek philosopher, all of whom are, of course, androids. The frog plans to shrink the population of Earth and use the planet to make a load of silicon chips. His ultimate plan is to go back in time and meet God, and this is before we even get started on the ethnic dancing and the spacewalk sequence. Now, DW's asked us to believe in some pretty implausible setups in the past, but this was most often because of budget limitations or for desire to pastiche a particular style of movie, the most obvious example being Pyramids of Mars. But why here? You almost get the impression writer Terence Dudley was given a list of elements to include in his script in order to win a bet. Doesn't feel like Doctor Who somehow, but it doesn't feel like anything else either. But it's a well-realised script with outstanding effects work on the monopticons and the Urbankan beam guns, and Stratford Johns is an unusual villain. There are some terrific lines in it too. You may keep the pencil, etc. Not to mention too what the hell's going on cliffhangers. In my mind, always superior to the now get out of that variety. The climax is rather rushed and perfunctory, though, which lets things down a lot, and there is the spacewalk sequence to contend with. Scientifically accurate or not, it still looks stupid. The regulars are more than usually interesting here too. Only Nyssa is really recognisable. She's nice, quiet, brainy in a non-threatening way. Adric is at his most childish and strident and fails to convince. Tegan seems perpetually on the verge of some kind of psychotic episode. Davison's debut performance, recorded before Castrovalva, remember, seems him playing the Doctor in a much more quirky way than he's remembered for. There's a lot of humour in his performance, but also more authority and steel when the scene demands it. His "you little idiot" speech to Adric, for example. It's certainly a more appealing Fifth Doctor than the one he played for most of his incumbency, but that's Ford of Doomsday all over. Much stranger than you remember. Weird but very watchable.